Minnesota's Medical Cannabis Program is providing relief for patients who face challenging medical conditions. Listen to Pia, who shares how medical cannabis is improving her son's quality of life.
My name is Pia Prenevost. I am a school nurse. I am married to Dan, who is in IT, and my son Jonathan has autism. We chose medical cannabis as an option for our son, partially because I'm a nurse and I had seen a documentary about the impact of medical cannabis on individuals with seizures. I did a lot of research after that to kind of look and see what might be the benefits for an individual with autism. And I found there's a lot of similarities between how cannabis works in a brain with seizures and what it might potentially do for an individual with autism. Jonathan's very gifted in the visual area. He tests in the high, not quite genius, but close to it, level for visual processing. However, his auditory processing and his processing speed and his working memory are on the lower side. So things that come in through that auditory realm, or things that he has to spend time with a lot of things and really think about them before he's able to really understand them.
I was a certifier in the first year that it became legal. My involvement was really at the impetus of some of my patients who had been looking at medical cannabis as a potential treatment for their children. I had one particular patient who had severe Tourette syndrome, and nothing was really working for him, and they were very frustrated, and it was very disruptive for him. And I deal with a lot of children who have Tourette's or autism in particular, or PTSD and some of the qualifying conditions. And the number one thing parents always tell me is that their quality of life has improved. And so when I look at the last chart review that we've done, and based on patient answers, we've had about a 72% improvement in quality of life indicators, which would be things like sleep, eating, interacting with others, decrease in behavior, and emotional regulation.
Initially, what we noticed was once we started him on the medical cannabis program, his tics went away. He had some vocal tics that were quite prominent, and they completely ceased. To this day, really, we haven't seen him having any more vocal tics. He does have some ocular tics, but for the most part, his tics have ceased when he's on medical cannabis. So medical cannabis has meant a great relief for my son, because I believe it helps him regulate the sensory information coming in and his ability to process it. And when he has that ability to do that, he is able to interact with the world in a way that is more adaptive and more connected, and is able to be happier and less frustrated with everything that life is throwing at him.
I always feel there's going to be a place for the medical cannabis program, particularly in pediatrics. I think it's probably one of the safest things we have for pediatrics right now. So I tell parents that. And I've not had anybody, once they understand that it's really controlled and it's really formulated specifically and they have a team behind them, they're less apt to think that I can just go get what's at the grocery store and give it to my child. I had a family in this week, and I asked her, how much has medical cannabis helped you? And she said, I got my son back. I can hold my son when I put him to bed at night, and he never let me do that before. And to me, that's all I wanted. We just want our sons and daughters to have an opportunity to be happy. So why would we hold back something that we know can really help?
I think if families have hesitations or concerns about utilizing medical cannabis, but yet they still are interested, I think they should seek out a doctor or practitioner who is using medical cannabis with their patients, and have a conversation with them about what potential benefits there might be for their child. I think that there's a lot of good reasons to consider it as an option for a family, but I also would want families to walk in understanding what it can and what it cannot do. And I think that that's just an important conversation that they should have with their medical professionals.